Hello and welcome to the monthly music mix for June 2023, where I'll be covering all the singles and albums that I've listened to this month. Starting with the singles, we have Grooming My Replacement by Code Orange. Grooming My Replacement and The Game are the two latest tracks by Code Orange. I'm glad we got these tracks when we did, as it confirms that their previous work wasn't a fluke with the weight between Underneath. All these songs have a great energy and intensity that was needed. Grooming My Replacement is a great first tease for what's next, and The Game just keeps the energy up. With this in mind, I'm giving these two tracks a mid 8 out of 10.
I've seen the devil dancing.
Next, we have Popular by The Weeknd. Popular is the latest single by The Weeknd to the soundtrack for The Idol, and the single is pretty boring. I'm not a huge fan of the chorus on this track, and I'm also not a huge fan of the verses on this track and find them kind of boring. However, easily the worst part of this track is Cardi's feature, as he sounds like he was recorded in an entirely different place with a terrible mic, and he doesn't really add anything to the song in my opinion. With this in mind, I'm giving the song a high 5 out of 10.
I hope you have fun.
Next is Amen by Bring Me the Horizon. Amen is the latest single by Bring Me the Horizon from their post-Human series of releases. The song loses some of the cringe of the previous single. However, the chorus on this song is as catchy as the previous single, and all the features on this song add to it, which is why I'm giving this song a light 8 out of 10. Next is Bittersweet by James and Nicole Gunn. Bittersweet is the latest single by James and Nicole Gunn, and it's pretty good. The song feels really different from the previously released tracks from the album. I don't feel like the song was a good single choice. However, it still is a pretty solid track. The song just doesn't have the same energy as the previous songs. However, it is still pretty engaging, and it's engaging enough for me to give it a light 8 out of 10. Next is the Upon Lost singles by Knocked Loose. Upon Lost is the latest sub-tracks by Knocked Loose, and they are pretty great. Both tracks just feel long enough so they don't overstay their welcome, and they both hit insanely hard. The transition between the two tracks also keeps the high energy, and it feels the intensity that is on the two tracks. With this in mind, I'm giving these songs a 9 out of 10. Next is Blackbox Life Recorder by Aphex Twin. Blackbox Life Recorder is the latest release by Aphex Twin, its first release since 2019. The song is such a great groovy track. I love how the track builds up and how it constantly gains new additions to the track. Like there's a keyboard that comes in partway through that I really enjoy. And I'm going to give this song a mid 9 out of 10.
I got blind.
Next is Until I End Up Dead by Dream. Until I End Up Dead is the latest single by Minecraft YouTuber Dream, and it's not good. The song has the most boring lyrics and a terrible generic production. And also, the lyrics are bad considering it's talking about his dead friend, and it would make more sense production-wise to have like a more like somber beat. Instead, it's like the most like standard upbeat production ever, and it feels tone deaf. And with this in mind, I am giving a song a light 0 out of 10. For the final single, we have Code Mistakes by Corpse and Bring Me the Horizon. Code Mistakes is the latest track by Corpse, and it features Bring Me the Horizon. Honestly, I think the chorus on this track is pretty good. However, I could not care for the verses. Ollie's verse is infinitely more interesting than Corpse's entering verse on this track, and I just don't really like Corpse's contribution to this track at all. It's just not really appealing. Overall, I am giving this song a light 4 out of 10. For the first album, we have The Fox and the Bird by OK Goodnight. The Fox and the Bird is the latest album by the band OK Goodnight, and it didn't really hold my interest. Most of the tracks on this album weren't really interesting. They just didn't really do anything for me. The only track that really did was the track The Nightmare. Like, some of the other tracks on this album had interesting elements. It just really didn't appeal to me. And overall, I am giving this album a light 6 out of 10. Next, we have In Times New Roman by Queens of the Stone Age. In Times New Roman is the return and final part of the latest trilogy by Queens of the Stone Age. The opener of Scenery immediately establishes that this album will be tumultuous and is immediately followed by the excellent Paper Machete. The next two tracks are probably my least favorite points of this album, however, they're still great in their own right. The rest of this track list leads up to the end, which are all great, and the closer itself is probably my favorite ender from the band, and it closes with this excellent string section. And with this in mind, I am giving this a mid 9 out of 10, and it is currently my favorite album of this year. Next, we have Michael by Killer Mike. Michael is the latest album by a rapper and member of RTJ, Killer Mike. This album, in my opinion, doesn't stand up to the quality of his recent work with RTJ. I mostly wasn't feeling the track list from this album besides the songs Don't Let the Devil and Enrich. There's also some questionable moments on this album, like the abortion segment on one of the tracks. And overall, I'm giving a song a high 6 out of 10. Next, we have The Beggar by Swans. The Beggar is the latest album by Swans and is a follow-up to their album Leaving Meaning. In my opinion, this album feels like it could be another conclusion for the band, as this album requires patience to get through, but you gain more from the album by being patient. The only really exciting point on this album is Los Angeles City of Death, which contrasts the track The Beggar Lover, which is a 40-minute long ambient track, which really makes you think about it as you listen for all the details hidden inside of it. The other moments on this album are all high points, and with this in mind, I'm giving this album a mid 8 out of 10.
Hey, society!
For some bonus recommendations, we have Cave World by Viagra Boys, the Doom 2016 soundtrack by Mick Gordon, and Formed by Battle Tapes. And with this in mind, this will be my coverage for this month, and I will see you in the next one.